Alrighty, well, you've clicked the thumbnail. This is 5 November 1 contract targets for the Gold Coast Titans. I'm your host, Phoenix Trinidad. This is Darren Park. And Darren, the Titans, it's kind of a fresh start for them.
Yeah, another one, I guess, would be the key. Obviously, only 2 years after their most recent one when Des Hasler took the reins. It's been pretty chaotic for them. Josh Hannay will obviously be keen to shape a squad in his looking. A lot of the ones we've done previously have been 16, 17 players, 19 players already signed. For the Titans, it's about 8. Yeah. So they've got a wide net that they can throw, which they'll need to throw as well. It's probably hard to see a short-term bounce, but it's about probably selling a direction where fans can go along saying, yeah, I see what's happening here. I see what we're trying to do. And there's options aplenty and a bit more money than some of these other clubs.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. So before we get into it, just remember, this video is brought to you, of course, by ZeroTackle.com. Not only is ZeroTackle.com Australia's #1 independent NRL news source, it also has games. Test your footy knowledge with NRL Streaker or NRL Name Scramble at ZeroTackle.com. Also, subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. We have plenty of NRL content coming out every week, even through the upcoming off-season, because footy never stops, especially with the NRL. Now, with all that out of the way, let's take a look at 5 2027 November 1 contract targets for the Gold Coast Titans. Alrighty, Dad. So as you mentioned, we only have 8 spots? 8 players signed on for that 2027 season. Off contract at the end of 2026, we have a few. Tino with a player option, David Fafita, and yeah, there's a lot to take in with the Titans, but kind of where you want to be for Josh Hannay.
Yeah, I mean it's a rebuild of sorts, or at least another reset for them. You know, in terms of even the contracted players on the list, they certainly want to extend Beau Fermor and Fa'asu Malawi as well in terms of long term, but there aren't too many non-negotiables on their list. Obviously, fullback with Brimson and Keeney, obviously likely to lock that in. That's okay. You do wonder whether the Titans, given their position, would have to pay overs to attract top talent, but maybe if you land the big fish paying overs, then you can bring in some others around it. So clearly need a halfback. They've almost played without a first-choice halfback for 2 years now. A hooker, some centres, hard-working forwards, bit of depth, that they can really start anywhere.
Yep. And obviously we're hoping, your Beau Fermors and your Tinos will re-sign, but let's take a look at our options now. So number 1, as we've discussed, they have unlimited salaries. So this is where you go for your big fish and you try and take Harry Grant from the Melbourne Storm.
Yeah, and you throw in the other elephant in the room, which is Perth lurking around, and Melbourne Storm have been working pretty hard behind the scenes to fight that off in recent times with Grant and Hughes and various others. But, the Titans would throw themselves into that mix as well. And financially, as much as Perth's salary cap has a bit more room in it, that the Titans have got a fair bit of cash as well. So, he's a Queenslander, as we know, Origin representative as well. Been a part of a lot of Melbourne Storm finals runs. We'll certainly be hoping to be a part of another one in the next couple of weeks as well. He'd be a really important player for them, but he's one that they'd probably have to pay overs for to, and it's not potting the Titans, but in terms of a go-home factor, if you were to offer a plate to 2 people and say, do you want to play for the Melbourne Storm under Craig Bellamy, or do you want to go to speculative Titans for a bit more money? It's still a tough choice.
Yeah, I can see that being one of those long-term contracts as well, if it eventuates. But number 2, not a big fan of this one again. Whenever we try to poach a New Zealand Warriors player, especially Luke Metcalf, who is the option number 2. But the Titans do need a halfback.
Yeah, and they need experience, they need class, they need match-winning capabilities. I mean, it's no secret of all the areas, that's just about the biggest point of focus for them. Metcalf's had the major injury. If they could do anything to get him across, he would be a really important player for them. I mean, the market's pretty skinny in that area. There are not too many out there, but he's one. Obviously, the Warriors would be pretty keen to secure that signature, but if you talk of the big names, we've gone Harry Grant and Metcalf, so it shows how high they've got to aim.
Yeah, exactly. And the big names are going to keep coming. The interesting one for Metcalf, though, too, is if they do sign him, because he won't be playing much of, or at least the first half of 2026. Correct. So they might be able to get him a little bit cheaper than what you might think, but the potential of Metcalf is huge. So if you're going to take him, you've got to pay overs. So speaking of paying overs, option number 3 from the Storm again, Tyron Wishart.
Yeah, I reckon last year we would have, across every team in the competition, his name would have been on 12 of those lists, probably. And the situation's the same here as well. The issue for him has been consistent starter at that level with the Storm, and it just hasn't consistently happened for him, and clearly he's going to want that. He's a really important part of what the Storm are doing, and we've seen with the injuries they've had that he does come in and play a role, but in terms of taking on a more senior position, you keep talking about him being gettable, and you'd have to think he would be.
Yeah. I really do think he, if he were to move on from Melbourne, his worth would just explode. So option number 4, coming from the Dolphins now, Jake Averillo, because the Titans need some backline players.
Yeah, I think their young talent is okay in this area, but in terms of having someone that can probably teach them, someone who's got a bit of grit, who can mix defence with some flair as well. So he's a player from that Dolphins lineup, which scores 1,000 times a week. That could be a really useful addition for them. So, yeah, I think long term they'll be all right here, but he's a player of importance for them.
Yep. And now this one is a little bit, let's say, pie in the sky. So, but this is, they need a forward pack leader, and they may be losing David Fafita and, of course, Tino. So option 5 is Keon Kaloa-Matangi from the Rabbitohs.
Yeah, and again, we're aiming high across most of these names as well. So, he found a new lease of life over the course of the season just gone with the Bunnies, who had a wretched run of injuries. He's capable of playing rep level, works extremely hard. I think they could do worse than ask the question. You're not going to get those players unless you knock on the door a little bit. So, I think he'd be one of the targets on their list.
Yeah, and he could even, work in with Tino if he chooses to stay. So that is our top 5 November 1 contract targets for the Gold Coast Titans. Let us know what you think in the comments, Titans fans. We don't hear a lot from you guys, but we're happy to hear from you on those 5. So thank you, Darren. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already, and we'll catch you on the next one.